right, sorry for the delay, my dudes, but welcome and thank you for tuning in to the Astro News Network slightly late edition. It's always appreciated that you show up at any time, whether it's noon or a little bit after noon. Let's see, we have Safari Park Clark in chat. Oh, I wonder if that's Clarky. Is that you, Clarky? We'll find out. But hello, everyone. We had a fairly slow 2 weeks of Astro Empires in the last 2 weeks. Everybody kind of knows that the new server's coming out. Everyone's just kind of relaxing. No one's doing anything too crazy or risky. On Nexus, everyone is still hanging out in the 30s that was there 2 weeks ago. They're all still there. A little bit less fleet than before, but everyone's still there. China has invaded the 50s on Antares, and the 50s went vacation mode, but China, it seems like they're going to wait it out. Good for them. And OPA invaded the 30s. We'll talk about that too. Oh, I forgot, we're going to have a guest on. OG Kush is going to come on to talk about his B3 guild and just being a lifetime winner in general. Oh, and also, oh my god, a little side note, for when we do talk about Nexus, we're going to have a couple RPR members come on to talk about what it's like to play for DPS, Dat Playful Sim. But let's go ahead and we'll just start off the day. We'll look at the rankings like we usually do. Alright, we just take a quick look at the level. Wee-Woo, Server Police, basically OPA, they're number 1. And number 2, U-Corp, followed by USSR, Simp, and SF. Wee-Woo and U-Corp, like I just mentioned, they're in the 50s right now. Or excuse me, the 30s. 30s, oh my god. And they're, as if the 30s haven't had it bad enough over the last 2 months. They're getting another visit. Too bad for them. Take a look at guilds by fleet. It's basically the same as the ranks by level. Is it exactly the same? Yeah, it is. Because when fleet matters the most, because you're building that the most, and that affects your level. That's how it works. Wee-Woo, U-Corp, SSR, Simp, SF, BM, Go, Total, D&D. The usual crew. Top rank by experience. Even though we had 2 big invasions over the last 2 weeks, not too much really changed on that front. Still number 1 of D&D by a long shot, followed by another 30s guild, W&W. Then there's Go, U-Corp, B&B. Yeah, all those 30s guilds, they're going to have a stranglehold on the EXP ranks for a long time. Players ranked by level still have lead on top, followed by Emperor Palpatine. Some might know her as Celeste. Then there's that Go guy that's Salugi, he's there. Got SF Paleo, a couple Wee-Woo guys there. Yeah, half the top 10 is Wee-Woo. And there's FK, and then there's U-Corp Braves. Yeah, the top 10 rankings by level, they don't change too much week by week either. Now, for our next story, we're going to talk about OPA going to the 50 or the 30s. I keep saying 50s. My goodness. Let me actually pull up my script and not just try to wing it. That never works. So OPA, they shocked the server this week by launching on someone who wasn't on an op of their own. On Friday, the entire 20s landed in the 30s. And half of them went into 30, the U-Corp side, and the other half, OPA, Op Guild of Wee-Woo, they all went up to 39. 30s with very little choice. They went to the safety of vacation mode. Infamous bravely says he hates literally every single one of you. And he's probably has good reason to do that too. Let's see. I know OPA, they got to kill a bit over 20 million fleet on that opening day, chasing after the people that hadn't quite gotten into vacation mode yet. That doesn't count U-Corp kills because they're just non-fun. They don't talk about who they kill. So we don't know what they've managed to accomplish there. To talk a little bit more about the op, I have Pulsar on. I talked to him just a little bit ago, just to chat about the op, just a little bit of what's on OPA's mind. Oh, what's that I hear? I guess that sounds appropriate. But we're going to take a listen to what Pulsar and I chatted about an hour ago. Got about 10 minutes of Pulsar time. Crack open a beer if you got them, because I know I'm going to need one for Pulsar. So let's start this and be back in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, I'm here with Pulsar, aka Amos Burton from OPA. He's returning. It's been a while since he's come on. How you doing, Pulsar?
I'm doing all right. How are you, George? Thanks for having me.
Not too bad. You can hear He's a grumpy baby next to me. I don't know what he's grumping about.
He probably doesn't like me.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. He doesn't like the fuzz. He doesn't like the cops suppressing everyone. So you're here as a representative of the server police, who've now recently been patrolling the A30s with the rest of the 20s. How did that all come about?
There's a lot of fugitives on this server. I think everyone knows about a criminal cabal in '09, but we needed to get rid of some FM and kind of get our guys some money before the next server opens and everyone quits out of boredom. So this is just an easy way to do that. I think there's some people who say it's not fair.
I thought Aster Empires was about being fair. Are you telling me it's not?
Yeah, I think the rank 1 and 2 guilds like routinely go and farm lower ranking guilds, and it's usually not a big deal. We're a little bit disappointed about vacation mode, but we still had a good time. I think we've killed about 20 to 25 million. That's just WeWoo, UCorp. I don't know what their number is, but
yeah, UCorp wasn't fun enough to make an op guild name. Too bad for them.
Yeah, it's too bad for them.
Yeah, so so like you said, you went up to the 30s, and they pretty much they kind of had to go VM or get murdered. How do you want to talk about the whole vacation mode meta that Antares has become?
I would take slight issue with how you phrase the choices. I don't think it's necessarily VM or get murdered. It is VM or get your bases hit, and I think that this server, more than others that I remember, has this like pathological fear of getting your bases hit. Like my bases are going to get hit, so I guess I just have to delete. Seems to be the attitude. And you can always like move your fleet. I think the 30s did have a lot of fleet. Their buddies in the 40s have 220 million. They're probably friends with lowers who have north of 250 million. So like there are options. But people like just don't want to play if those options involve their bases getting hit, and I think that's kind of lame. I also just don't think it really works. I mean, I think if I were to get one of my bases hit, which are like this is an arrogant statement, but nicer than their bases, like that's about a 60,000 credit loss to me, adding it all up. And so if you like get 20 million fleet killed because you didn't get into VM in time, like that's hundreds of bases that we would have to hit to make up for they're handing that to us. So I just don't think it's a good strategy. I don't think it's a fun strategy. Hopefully it goes away, but I'm not like emotionally upset about it. It's an option that they have and they took it.
I don't know, these sound like butthurt tears to me, Pulsar. I've never heard someone so more upset than you right now. Because I don't think it's a big deal even when you invade and they do go VM, because there's always a couple people that get caught, and when you go on like the farming trip, not everyone farms. If I'd gone up there, there was a 0% chance I was going to hit any bases. I don't do anything in the game anymore. Yeah, so it's like the people that are hungry, they still find something.
Right, I'm not sure that like it really reduces the amount of damage that you take when it involves handing fleets that are like 10 hours into VM get hit when we land, that kind of business. Or like what's going on in the 50s. They spent like a week in VM with more than 100 players VMing. Is China really going to hit 700 bases? Like even if there was like no resistance at all and no one went into VM, like how many bases is China going to hit? But like
I don't know. Like is China going to stay there for the long haul? I wonder, because I mean they haven't done much this server, so I bet they would have the patience to just sit there and do nothing, because they have everyone else back in the teens to kind of keep them safe, so they can afford to sit there and do nothing for 35 days.
I would much rather get some of my bases hit than spend a week in VM, but that is not I think the 50 should just come out of VM right now and face the music. But
well, really, they can sit in VM. The new server comes out in a week. Who cares? This is the time to vacation mode.
Yeah, I guess. We'll see what happens to the server in a week. Hopefully, will stick around. I think it's funny that like the 50s are in VM and they're like multis of the OOs who like won't even launch to save them because the OOs don't want to get their bases hit. Like it's just kind of a silly fear to have in a war game. I don't think OPA was ever afraid of having our bases hit. I think we planned on that very early, and it just like somehow miraculously hasn't happened.
Because everyone did go rings and pretty much has rings, like because we kind of did that on Nexus, so that way when everyone invaded like we predicted, no one would want to hit us when we had to leave when they all came.
And that's nice for us, but I mean these other clusters. They've ringed up too, maybe not as much as we have.
Yeah, I think the only other guild that would probably consider that would probably be our old friends, Cancer Club, in the Zeros, our ex-friends.
I actually don't think that they would. I mean, maybe they would now because they have so many rings, but like, why haven't they gone to save the 50s? I mean, half those guys have multis in the 50s. I guess it's just like apathy, or they don't want to get their bases hit. Admittedly, it might be both.
I mean, they are. I've seen them gathering at 09, so they might be up to something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would think that they would come like hurt us, but like, the clock is ticking on that. I guess we'll see.
I mean, this just because they dropped their pack with us doesn't mean that we had to immediately have a blood feud and fight.
I don't think we have a blood feud. I do think that. Maybe I don't think that CC ever really liked the boomers, and there was just kind of a washout of that feeling once we didn't have a reason to pretend that things were otherwise. Anyway, that's all I'll say. Other than that, if obviously,
well, the experiment on Nexus like that exploded like a month in, like FK and Black just like they didn't get along, they couldn't do it. And so we just kept it professional, so that way we didn't just super die.
Yeah, and I miss most of that. To be fair, but I've heard the stories, even others. So
yeah.
Anyway, I will say that they're still Antares most wanted. Server police aren't going away. No innocence down there.
Do you think we're ever going to fight the teens again someday in the future?
Everyone says that there's this pact with the teens. There isn't. I think what there is a little bit of mutual respect and just exhaustion with the teens. I mean, they have spies in the 20s. It's extremely difficult. Like, it takes like 8 hours of my 18 hours of my real life time to get 600 billion fleet like marshaled up together and zoom it down to A18, and then like they see it coming and move to block us and we have to recall. And actually the politics of the server had made it more difficult for us to even consider that as an option. Like when CC drops packed, now I have to like think about this new variable of, are we even going to be able to keep the pile once like all but our scout ships are dead and there's like a billion derbs in A18. I mean, I'm not sure that we or the teens have this desire to just self-destruct and hand it to whoever can get there first, and that's a problem that these third-party clusters have kind of created. It wasn't something that we sought to create, but it is something that I think both us and the teens think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, little baby, why are you grumping? Don't grump, baby. Put your bottle back in your mouth, old Jordan. My wife loves that we did name him after my internet handle.
Is he ready to take an account?
Yeah, but I'm too cheap to buy an upgrade for him, so we can't actually play together yet. Because we get IP banned.
Well, the next time we have an upgraded open, we can hook you up.
You hear that, little buddy? Your tides are going to turn. Everything's going to change. Things are looking up. But anything else you wanted to get off your chest, Mr. Pulsar?
No. I hope everyone keeps playing and has fun. I'm sure everyone's excited for the new server.
Yeah, because OPA is not really moving en masse to B3, so server police are not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I hope our guys, they're all splitting up into different groups, which is going to make making your everlasting vengeance on B3 more difficult. You're gonna have to get it here, and then we hope people will try and do that. Keep the server fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I hope we can keep Antares, I'll use air quotes, fun for us. But yeah, I got to go tend to this little dude next to me. But thanks so much for chatting with me about the Antares 30s invasion.
Okay, yeah, thanks, George. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot, man. All right, we're back, and my cat just jumped up on the desk, so you can see Cyrus here. Cyrus, look at the camera so you can see your cute face. Ah! Oh God! That was Cyrus. Sickening. But yeah, that was how OPA feels about everything. Also on Antares, fun fact, China, they did invade the 50s. 50s VM'd, and it looks like China's going to sit there forever until they come out of VM. So we're just going to sit on that and let that happen. But up next, we have Mr. OG Kush, and we're going to talk about B3. We're going to talk about OG Kush just overall. We'll find out what details in just a minute, so give me a minute. We'll get him on, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back with Mr. OG Kush. Why don't you say hello to everyone, Mr. Kush?
Hello, everybody.
All right, I'm sure if you're in the Astro Discord, I'm sure you have seen OG Kush around there. He's a pretty prolific poster there. And we're going to start off with that same first question that I have for everybody. Can you give us a little brief Astro Empire's history lesson about yourself?
Yeah, I started on SETI. I was on the ASU side. Phoenix, I was a sub-guild GM for Steel Legion for a little while. Played on Gamma, and I just got hard farmed off that server. Next was Helion with the famous TJ.
Oh, was his guild 187 there? Wasn't that his guild?
Oh, yeah, that was 187.
That,
and yeah, I just took in a
super gangster True Justice.
Yeah, that was a random start, and then ended up talking to TJ a bunch, and just rolling with that for a little while. Ion was next with the War Legend. I was there for a little while.
You were in War Legend on Ixion?
Yeah. And notably, I also had an account with Allie's Guilds. Few people knew about that one.
So what was after Ixion?
Nova IGMs. just a 100% random star guild, just probably 90% multis. I had no agenda, so I don't think anybody really cared, and then we just crumbled.
Yeah, gotcha.
I retired for a while there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I hadn't seen, because like I had started playing again around Elysium time, which was close to 5 years ago, but I hadn't really seen you prop up again until like 2020.
Yeah, I stopped playing for a while. I ended up moving to an area where I just had shit cell phone reception. I was out in the boonies, and yeah, I just had to give up on it. I found myself parked on the side of the road because I knew I was going to lose reception in another kilometer. And it's just like, you know what? I really don't need AE right now.
I noticed you used some evil metric word, so I guess you're not an American then, if you're using something like kilometer. What does that even mean?
Oh, no, I am definitely Canadian. Metric, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but you're back into the game now, and recently you had written a guide. Was checking it on the forums. It was just earlier this year, your guide, The Philosophy of Win, which I have just a page of it pulled up here. What inspired you to write a guide for Astro in 2020?
Well, I've always wanted to do it actually, but why then and there? I basically got tired of spamming like little tips and tricks and pointers and being blamed for spam.
All right. Good enough reason. Now, I was hoping to grill you as much as possible about B3, because you've been pretty public about just like reaching out to, hey, Galaxy Commanders, reach out to me for this and that. But I know you've also said you're trying to keep it close to the vest with your plans, but I'm still going to try to get as much information out of you as I possibly can. Because just a little bit ago, what did you post in the Discord? You're like said, hey, like don't PM me for B3 lowers. Check with your in-game GMs. Join or form a small group that fits the proposed format. And like, don't contact me if you're just a gross individual. You don't deal with gross individuals.
No, I just don't want every individual looking for a new group messaging me. And I don't even want to poach, I guess would be the term. I don't want to try to poach any players from key groups or anything. I'm just working with a concept and assembling from groups that already exist.
Yeah, you don't want to step on anyone's
curious,
toes. Yeah, you don't want to step on anyone's toes and make any enemies. I mean, you only want to make allies, no enemies.
Yeah, I'm not here to do this more than once. I'm clearly not the political figure or anything. So maybe just a one shot. I don't need to damage my shot with any team by trying to poach their players or anything like that. So I'm just avoiding that in general.
If Detroit Fan or Meow invited you to B3, would you play with them?
I'd probably play with Detroit.
Him and Meow, they're hand in hand. It's fake that they're two separate guilds. That's preposterous.
Yeah, but if Meow's just like off on the side like he is, then I could probably just do that.
Because you've been very outspoken about your dislike of the upper 20s on Antares, but are you taking it all back now?
Well, no, I'm not taking it back, but I never had a grudge against that or anything. I just think they're stupid. It was the dumbest move.
Because what did they... I forget, because you talked about they kicked you out for some reason, but why did they actually kick you out?
Meow says he kicked me out for, I don't know, being toxic, I guess.
Okay, all right, hold up, full stop. Now that's something I can completely believe.
I mean, it's not completely false, but I don't feel that I started being toxic.
But I mean,
I started off
I can
with
understand that they would also kick out
suggestions.
anyone that was like posting on the boards in their guild, like just like even being conversational. I can see how that would be a kick out of a Detroit or Meow guild. I mean, that's too much participation. They don't really go for that. So back to B3, the future. Do you have any names that we're going to recognize that are playing with you? You can tell us who's playing with you
Yeah,
so far.
yeah. Actually, I was fairly surprised with the first people to talk to me about it. The people I was expecting to jump up and join me didn't really, but some people that I didn't expect to come forward and talk about it and be interested in it were. So that worked.
I noticed there wasn't any names named. We need to form the
No,
blacklist. No names named though.
no.
Oh wow, missed opportunity there. All right, so
Yeah.
now the other day I heard a rumor from I heard this from one of the larger guilds that's coming into B3. They said they heard that you might be China's American sponsor for B3. Is this something you're willing to confirm or deny?
I'm trying, of course. That would be ideal for me.
Yeah, because I know you have a plan. You're trying to set up as many groups in different galaxies across the zeros as possible. And you want 2020 China to be a part of that.
I definitely do.
No kidding. All right. Yeah, because I don't think Traces was going to try to bring them along again for the next server. So, yeah, we'll see if they pop up with you on the next one. So you
There's a
said,
lot of room in these new clusters.
yeah. So, like, as you've been publicly posting about your Galaxy commanders and, like, orders the other day, but I'm going to say it. I haven't seen anyone post and respond to it, like, in the Discord. Yeah, like what is the deal? Why is no one stepping forward and saying I'm an OG Kush boy? What's the deal with that?
Well, because there are no OG Kush boys, so I don't think anybody's really ready to carry the flag just yet on a whim, I guess.
Infamous has a really good question for you. He says, "Who's going to translate the philosophy of Win to Mandarin for China?"
I could. Google can.
Hey, that might be the final thing that seals the deal between your two groups.
I don't mind using these translate.
Yeah. Now, how many galaxies do you think realistically you're going to be able to like actually go for on B3? Like, because I know, can you give us even just like a rough estimate of how all of them, all 10?
All of them. All the lowers.
100 confirmed for OG Kush. Wow. So, is there anything like any real details about your guild at all? Because there's no names named, although you're going to have all 10 galaxies covered and possibly the China. Southie says all servers,
No,
all accounts.
not all servers, not all accounts. Oh,
because you did mention before on a previous server that you're no stranger to the multi-game.
I've dabbled.
You've dabbled?
I've dabbled. I actually dabbled in openly doing it too, which did get me in a bit of trouble.
Clutch your pearls. Oh, DPS would be so unhappy to hear that. He's going to have to make an anti-cheater crusade. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was legit because I was telling people that that was me and that was me. So it's a little different.
Yeah. But I think I'm out of specific questions for B3, especially because half of them you're dodging the details, which is okay. I know you want to keep your plan secret. It's okay. Do you have any like?
Well, I'm definitely going with the small groups, small core groups, spread out. I posted a lot of the strategy for it on the forums. I don't know if we're gonna go with an actual spec blob or any spec guilds. I guess that'll really depend on how the contests go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because no one ever really decides where they're going to start the server until like the day of, because spies, all
5
that stuff.
minutes before it
You declared,
launches.
yeah, you declared that like way before. You're going zeros no matter what.
Yeah, I figured it might as well.
Yeah. So I guess yeah. Since I'm running out of questions for you, my dude, do you have any like declaration you want to put forward for B3? A proud claim you want to make on your future endeavors?
Yeah, the lowers union is going to control the whole server.
All right, OG Kush guaranteeing a Kush win for sure. And yeah, I guess if I'm running out of questions and you might be running out of answers, I think I might get to let you go. But thanks so much for coming on, Kush.
All
I
right, buddy.
appreciate your time, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Badoop. All right. Well, that was OG Kush giving us a deep layer of insight into his B3 killed. And before we talk about the Nexus 30s, where we're going to have a couple people on to talk about that, we're just going to finish up our B3 preview, which we've been touching on for a few weeks, but we're going to get back to it because it's in 1 week. The server is in 1 week, and I think I've done a pretty decent job of getting all the names together who have played. I don't think I've missed anyone that's putting together like a larger group, but if I have, good job on you for keeping your group secret. Oh fuck it, you're gonna do a multi-army subscription model. 10 multis for $5 a month? I don't know. Well, I mean, how many of those multis are going to be Gary quality? Let's be real. They can't all be Garys. Anyway, back to B3. If you remember the first day of B3 names, a lot of the names that were on there, they're gone. And that's because about all of them are playing in Clarky's group. I know Clarky's group contains Wheels, contains Slip and Jimmy, contains Trace, contains Belwar. I'm sure there's some other big names in there that we haven't heard about yet. But Clarky, he was on 2 weeks ago. He himself declared that his guild, despite having a lot of big names in there, he said his guild is going to be no more than 80 players. And we'll find out in a week or so if his word is any good. We'll find out. Another player that is looking to be a bigger contender, DPS. Dat Playful Sin. Word on the street, I've heard from a couple of people that his guild is getting pretty big, so it looks like he's going to try to make another real run at B3. Because after his successes on Nexus, he has the #1 guild there. What's that infamous OPA rats need to be brought to justice. They cannot be allowed to scatter to B3. Well, I guess you can, Infamous, you can lead the alliance against corrupt server police. That can be you that does that. One group that has kind of fizzled out there, that would be Celeste's Communist Guild. Celeste kind of had a group going on before. She was like recruiting for the server months ago, posting for that Discord. And most people that initially joined that Discord, they've left for greener pastures before the guild server start. Most of those people left. One of those people I know, Benedict in the Discord, in-game name usually Burgess. He left. He has a group. Burgess is bringing I don't know how particularly large that group will be, but I know he's bringing a group over to B3 as well. OG Kush, we just had him to talk on. We didn't get to hear any details about it. He's trying to get China. So maybe he'll get China, maybe he doesn't. We'll see how successful his lowers playing comes together. Alicus, he's bringing a group onto B3. He was talking about B3 about the same time he started playing on A3. And we'll see how his group comes together. He says he's trying to message all the old boys to come back. The other day he said he got 20 to 40 responses. So that was just in 1 day, so he might have a massive large group. Who knows? Technique, another part of the Antares 30s. He's part of the Antares 30s. He's part of the Nexus 30s. Yep. He's a Cloak and Zahaga perennial player. That's a great shine to have on your shoulder. Technique is looking at starting a group on Antares too. Oh, I mentioned 2 weeks ago, Star, he's going to be getting serious for B3. And Star has gained a potent mastermind on his team in the form of Admiral Kirk of Trek fame on Antares. And I just got to put it out there that Kirk has never ever actually made a bad play in the game. And I should feel really bad about ever suggesting that he did ever make a misplay on Antares. That was on me for ever suggesting that. But will Kirk's schemes get the better of him again this time around? I'm excited to find out on B3. From the 40s on Antares, MBM in the Antares 40s, they're playing again on B3. We'll see if they come together again. Oh, Scott, it's so interesting that you popped up here because you also have a small group that's coming to B3. We'll see if the remaining boomers that are scattered across the server try to have it out for him again. And also, on B3, I'm going to be starting just a little training guild there. I'm not recruiting for it, although I do have a massive 2 people that are starting with me. I'm going to restart in the 40s whenever those open up, so I have a chance of getting some actual new players with me. So we'll see whenever that actually happens. But also, I might get super screwed over if like the 40s just instantly open, and whoever tries to take the usual Cloak and Zahaga upper 30s spot just goes 40s instead. That would definitely screw my plans and would be unfortunate. Scott denies playing on B3. So we have you at your word. You would never be bringing a group to B3? Is that for sure, Scott? I wouldn't want to get you caught in a lie here. That'd be unfortunate. It's not a big group. It's just a small, low group. It's fine. It's no big deal. Don't need to have the server police come after you. Let's see. I don't know if there's anyone else that's really starting a big group on B3. You're playing with Technique? Okay. I bet. Yeah, I think those are most of the bigger groups for B3. There's always little smaller groups that come up. I hope I didn't accidentally miss someone in my notes from the prior episodes, but that's going to be a little snapshot of what B3 is going to look like. Those are the groups. I hope we get a 40 so I can get new players to actually train in the 40s and not care and have fun on a server. That would be fun. But next, we're going to move ahead to talk about... God, I had to shuffle my script around so much. Nexus. That's what we're talking about. Nexus. Hello. All right. Has anyone made a build guide for B3? V3? They're around somewhere. Server Police OPA, they have one. On Nexus, if you look back to last week where I talked about how everyone invaded the 30s, they're all still there. Everyone's still doing the same thing they were 2 weeks ago. About a week and a half ago or so, the invaders, which are the 0s, 10s, and 20s, they'd moved up to 39 to blow up a little bit of Acme and Ren fleet. They got 30 million or so. And now the Acme and Ren, they flew away. They flew down to the lower 30s, and now they're getting chased back down there. So we'll see if we get some more action soon. But to talk more about this, I have 2 RPR members that are going to come and have a chat with me. One is Silver Monk, one of DPS's real-life friends. Buckle in for that. He's one of his usual jump gate builders. And let me get this right. The other player for RPR that's going to come on is Dr. Prankster Celeste. I haven't seen him play before, but I'm very excited to talk to him. So give me just a minute, and I'm going to be right back with those 2 RPR players to talk about Nexus for a minute. All right, guys, we are back with Silver Monk and Dr. Prankster Celeste. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Why don't you go first, Mr. Silver Monk?
All right. Well, guess I've been vice GM for DPS since Sigma, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, that's about it. You know, got my start there a few weeks late, and just been, following orders, doing my shit, and having a crazy time killing some peeps. That's about it, really.
Kill him some peeps. And Dr. Prankster Celeste, do you want to talk about yourself a little bit?
Sure. I started in Sigma with dogs, with Cougar Mommy and Twig Wolf. I also moved on to Stars with Dangerous, and then Mini in Sith. And other servers I played was Jade, Mordor, Meow, and Sheepy. Kepler, I was with Tony Stark and Ice. Xeno and Fire. And Slippin' Jimmy and Stella Rosa in XOXO.
Good. Those all sound like lots of fun guilds to play in. I'm sure that was great. How did you end up playing in RPR under Dat Playful Sin?
I was recruited under him. Like, he just was a tyrant and he just conquered everything, and he forced us to join him.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Makes sense a lot. Now, let me get to my actual questions here. Now, because Silver Monk, you know DPS in real life. That sounds like it has its own set of challenges. How would you two both rate Dat Playful Sin as a leader, and more importantly, as a human being?
Honest opinion. Let's just say he's pretty much no life. So if you want somebody who's gonna be there and the GM ain't gonna let go, then he's definitely your dude. If you want somebody who's gonna fucking make people rage quit and shit like that, then he's your guy to go to. He makes the game fun in a way that you haven't seen. I just showed up in Sigma and everybody was freaking zerging, and it was just guilds of 100, and you're just a freaking number. And with this was just like, yo, YOLO, let's go balls deep and just kill some shit, man. So yeah, no. As in real life, he's pretty much the same, to be honest. Can't really hold back what he's saying sometimes. He's pretty damn blunt and honest, which does make good for conversations, but and advice. But when it comes to political matters, let's just say he's not the best at politics, if you will.
Yeah, DPS, he definitely has, as he loves to call them, his fans, which is interesting. An interesting choice there. Other guy, what do you have to say about DPS?
Well, to be honest, I'm still a little bit tilted about DPS. DPS is DPS, just a kid trying to be super awesome and trying way too hard, And DPS is probably the only one with a larger ego than Alec is. He's pure cancer, mate.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're going to find a few people that agree with you there. He definitely, DPS definitely rates himself very high. Mr. Silver Monk, Dat Playful Sin, like as you said, you actually know him in real life. Would you say that DPS is actually as great as he is as a real life human that you've known and encountered for somehow years and dealt with?
We're hitting up this September is 19 years now that we've known each other. So
Oof.
Yeah, been my best bud since then. Like I said, he's if you don't want somebody to sugarcoat shit and tell you, you're a fucking idiot and you're doing stupid shit, that's a friend, man. At the end of the day, it's somebody who's not gonna fucking shy away from telling you the truth and slap you in the face a couple times, So for that fact, I'll always, appreciate that. But sometimes he can definitely be a little insensitive, I guess is the word, and a little too logical and less emotional.
Yeah, DPS has definitely had the most call-outs when he's appeared on the news, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that won't change either. Yeah, but I mean, do you find it surprising that he has so many fans? Is he like that in real life? Is he just a jerk to everyone in real life like that?
Uh, I don't consider it jerk to be honest. Like I said, it's really just full out honesty and just full out brutal, no gives a shit how you're gonna feel from this. So it's not really jerky in real life. It's really just kind of he's being honest and saying his actual opinion. So like I said, some people don't take that well, and certainly in politics, they do not like being called idiots or retards or you're making bad choices, shit like that. That's not the way to go in politics. But when it comes to like real life shit, it's the way to go. That's what you want. So when it comes, like I said, to the real life shit, I don't think I consider it much of a jerk. He is a no lifer when it comes to games and breaks them down and just freaking finds the shit that just is too OP. So on the other hand, that's great for like playing with somebody who will just no life it and just tell you, hey, this is how you should play, and then you just freaking you demolish everything at that point. So for that, it's really cool. But again, he can be a little too blunt with his comments. So you can
maybe now other person, Dr. Prankster Celeste. Do
Yes.
you have anything to talk about DPS's how he has so many fans, or anything to say to them?
So what I think it is that, first of all, if anyone surpasses him, it's automatically a multi, right? Automatically cheating, all that stuff. It's impossible. He's like a god in AE. At least that's how he thinks of himself. And I'm sure plenty of people could agree. And to be honest, it's pretty wild playing with him. Out of any server, anywhere he goes, he always has the most action because everybody loves to hate on him.
I don't think it's hard to do that.
Nope.
No. So just as these rank and file RPR DPS players, is there anything you guys want to maybe shout out even on his behalf?
I don't know. Just keep doing what you're doing. It makes it fun for everyone. And I don't think he's malicious in his intent. But he does rip people a new one if you try to troll him. That's for sure.
True that.
I mean, if you could say anything to some of DPS's fans, is there anything you'd put out there?
Just, keep doing what you're doing. Your love is very appreciated. And I'm sure anyone in his position would say the same thing.
Yeah, but if in theory you were actually in charge of the 30s invasion, how would you rate that it's going and what you're doing going forward?
Well, to be honest, running away is a good tactic, especially with the jump gate network. They did lose over 100 million in total. I don't know who made this actually happen, but merging all your best players into one guild was the smartest move to go. Abandoning 13 right away was the smart move. Akami is pretty much done for. So now there's only one more left, and it's coming to the end of the server. The new server is coming up. So let's have one big crash and have fun.
Yeah, because I wonder how much they are going to run, because, I mean, they've given us the runaround before, but I wonder how much longer that's going to keep up. They're going to get bored eventually. I mean, you can take Cloak and Zahaga out of the guild, but I mean, eventually, they're like that blood is still in their veins. They're going to just stop and kill themselves in a crash. It's a guarantee. It's going to happen.
Well, they lost their bases and economy, right? So the longer this persists, it goes more in favor with every other cluster than them. I think Wolf has finally is catching up to them, especially if we keep picking them off like this. And Wolf was the one that was beaten the most out of the entire server.
Oh yeah, because they even came up too. I don't know if they're really getting involved in all the action, but I know they came up through the wormhole 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, out of 30 to 39, Hungary has been the frontliner. RPR has been the backup, and Wolf has also been in the sidelines, but they've been feeding off a few galaxies. I think it was 35, 34, and 33. While Hungary has been feeding off the blobs that we've been crashing 80 million, 20 million, 30 million. And RPR was the only one that was getting fucked by this because they were on the lower level gate. So the fact that they got to farm 38, 39, and 37 has finally everybody's gotten food or had a chance to get food. So I think it's good now for us to have one big crash, or at least attempt it. If they run away, whatever. I'm sure we're going to catch a lot, and I'm sure people are going to stop playing by B3.
Hey, you think they're going to be done in a week? It's all going to be over in a week?
Well, I'm sure it's not a surprise or news that we're moving closer. We're getting in position for a crash. If they want to contest us now, sure. If they don't and want to wait it out, sure. Either way, we're coming. So it's just the ball's on their court at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I should probably log into Nexus and make sure I'm in the right place.
Yes, you should. You're the last one to move almost every time.
Whoops. Sorry. It's I don't try hard anymore. It's my own fault. But yeah, I think the Nexus. It's like, I mean, they're giving us the runaround a bit. But I mean, it's inevitable. They're still staying in the 30s. It's not like they're completely abandoning the 30s and like hitting our bases somewhere. They're just bouncing back around the 30s, and they're getting nickel and dime down. It's eventually it's going to happen.
There's no right way to do this. You know, if they leave cluster, they lose their gate advantage. If they stay in cluster, they could try to pick us up, but because we've been taking it slow and moving in formation, we haven't been giving them much openings.
Yeah. Now, are you as shocked at how like actually inactive all the Zeros guilds are? Dogs and all stars.
Oh my fucking god! Holy shit! Excluding the 187 milled still in dogs that's just chilling and simming, there's still like so much inactivity from the lowers that it's incredible. I did not expect that. Lowers were so fierce at the start of the server and up to Zahaga's crash. But after that, it's like everybody's like, oh well, this is over. Zahaga and Cloak is gone, so let's all AFK. To be honest, I think 30s have the most active players out of any other cluster.
Well, they did have the most players before the the wormhole crash. But
yes.
The Zeros, like, no one gives a shit in the Zeros. No one gives a shit in the next Zeros. We're just there. We're there like just to be like we get qualified as a Zerg. That's what they all decided on.
Well, it's more like revenge at this point.
Yeah, just
being camped for 1 month by us, and then you camping me, camping 20s for 1 month, and then 30s is the only one that hasn't been camped for a month. So I find this is due justice.
I mean, we're running out of time on that month. It's been like 3 weeks already, I think.
Yeah, that's why we're going in for the kill, or gonna try to recall trap them. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because it was a ballsy move for them to go from 39 down to 30 anyway. Even though they had the better jump gates, that's still high potential for disaster.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. They had the better jump gate, and Wolf was moving up cluster, and all of us were up cluster. There's no way that we would have been able to intercept them. In time with that high level gate and that huge jump.
What if we were smarter and more attentive?
The thing is, it's always a free win if they run for us, especially destroying their economy. There's no losing if they run. However, if they contest, now it's an all-in. We don't know what's going to happen.
Because really, with the dog shit Zeros activity, they could have tried to like force a crash before, because it would have been really, the Zeros would have sucked shit and not probably synced well. But now that they've lost 100 million in their tail, there's like no chance they can contest us anymore because they've lost 100 million along the way.
130 million.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, yeah. Before that first 80 million, they could have beat all of us. To be honest, their activity and everything, plus their free meat shield, they would have beaten all of us if they contested. But I think the leadership was, like you said, the blood of Zahaga and Cloak. It still runs through their veins, and they fucked all of that up. But now there's new leadership. There's Ro. I'm not familiar with him. Maybe you are.
Nope. But yeah, I didn't know him before either. Yeah. But I mean, they're good and active. Like they should have been that active from the start, and we would have, like they could have, I don't know, pushed us in some way. But it took them a little too long to get their bearing, and unfortunately, they lost 100 million fleet along the way. So now their activity, even though they're super active now, just the numbers advantage is so much against them. They're just screwed.
Yeah. And we had time to restock and everything like that. So the longer they take, look, the more they run, the more fucked they are. So they might as well just, You know, like you said, rip the band-aid off and just face us, and let's see what happens. I think they could actually beat Hungry and Wolf combined in a crash if they actually put the effort.
Because the Zeros, they're not putting in any effort on Nexus. They are all out of Nexus. Like that, like you can have that server, it's yours or whatever. Like Zeros just don't care.
Oh, we could share it.
But
I want to share for Wolf, that's for sure. They deserve it. After all the beatdowns that they had, they deserve a win.
Yeah. But yeah, because Nexus, they're running out of time in the 30s. Like we kind of took it easy for a week or so, and like you said, we're making the final move now. You wanted to wrap it up in a month or so, so maybe that'll be happening soon, and I'll get to talk about that in 2 weeks. But anything else you want to say about Nexus, not DPS?
Yeah, of course. No hate for anyone. Let's all have fun.
No hate for anyone, DPS.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no hate from you guys. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on, guys, talking about Nexus, because Lord knows I'm not paying enough attention. I lost, like, my first thing to do in the 30s was to lose my Rex, because I thought they wouldn't do anything. So I'm obviously not that plugged in. But thanks for coming on and give us a little breakdown on Nexus, and you guys have a good weekend.
All right, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. So that was definitely not DPS, and his actual real-life friend, Silver Monk, who I was surprised was a real person too. Very surprised. But yeah, that's going to wrap up our episode of the ANN today, my dudes. Let me scroll down to the end. In script or whatever. Yeah, I had to... Yeah. Sorry it was late, or the episode was late. I just... had shit came up. Gets a little bit late. What are you going to do? But thank you everyone for tuning in once again. I hope you're all looking forward to B3. I am very happy to... Oh my god, what is this? Added permitted term. N space HG. Sure. I don't know why that would be an automated term. N space HG. But sure, that's weird. Anyway... I'd like to thank everyone that watched today, everyone that came on today. We got a bunch of people. We were light on news, so I padded it out to get people to actually talk about the kind of non-action that happened. But we stretched it out to an hour today. We did what we could. But if you're ever interested in coming on the ANN, go ahead, reach out to me. You don't have to be some guild leader or Astro famous. ANN does not discriminate. You can message me in-game, Discord, Twitch, wherever you can find me. I will probably be streaming on Saturday when the server starts. Excuse me. We'll see if the 40s are open then or not. I might just go streamline and try to bother someone for a week or two till the 40s open. That might happen. Who knows? I just know I'm looking forward to doing a goof-off training guild and having fun and not playing serious business. But I'll definitely be streaming on the B3 opening. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in again. You guys have a good weekend and enjoy your Astro Day.